corner of South Africa, whether there is a Floyd or no Floyd, or whoever is there, must be the expression of the collective ideals of the political party. That is basically how we dealing with all of those issues. I think we can take the last round of questions. I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. I don't want to talk about that. Maybe when we do a one-to-one interview, I'll tip you. Zandile, me and you are together. That's Zian. Sure.
Thank you, Comrade Shivambu. Another round. We'll go 1. And then 2, 3, 4. There at the back, Mr. Afro. 5, and then we'll go with you, and then you. Thank you. Okay, we gave you a chance now. Okay, you the last one. Thank you.
Thank you. Molweni nonke, gama lam nguNtsiki Mazwai from the Moya podcast. So, Floyd, you did say that you don't want to be surrounded by yes men, right? And I want to find out that a lot of people were complaining about it being difficult to work with you on a personal level. And I want to know which part you hold yourself accountable to, and if you feel as if there is some personality dynamics that you need to work on yourself, perhaps to be a better leader, to be able to connect with people, or you think it's just all rubbish. And then abantu bafuna ukwazi uba uDudu ebekuthukela ntoni that night. Enkosi.
Good day, it's Wikanyo MDN TV. Mr. Fred Shibam, I only have one question for you because my other colleague have already raised other question. Given the reports of your marginalization within the MKP on the basis of ethnicity, do you believe the party operates with the tribalist tendencies? And with your experience, can you confirm or dispel the notion that MKP is fundamentally tribalist in character?
You can talk.
Hi, I'm Amanda Koza from News 24. Mr. Shivambu, I just wanted to know what will happen in the event that MK comes out later saying that you're expelled, if they decide to expel you this afternoon, having said everything that you've said.
Thank you. It's Corinda from Kaya 959. I'd just like to confirm, would this briefing be the first time that other members of MKP are hearing about your plans to try and launch another party, including the former president? And then, so you say you won't resign, but you're looking to launch another political party. So if that works, then how would it add up? Would you be then campaigning for both parties? Thank you.
Okay, Tiseto Malau from PEM News. Mr. Floyd, Julius Malema once said that Jacob Zuma uses people. The only person that he never uses is his daughter. Do you think that's how the man operates? And then the second one, Tutuzile once accused you of stealing, map out your innocence on Twitter. Okay, mismanaging funds, sorry. Mismanaging funds. Sorry, mismanaging funds, sorry. And then, okay, the last question is that you once made claims that you can easily mobilize members of the EFF to join you. And now you are saying that you're going to consult if you can start a political party from South Africans. If they say that you can start a political party, do you think those leaders and members will join you in that party? Thank you.
It's you. The lady with the, yeah.
All right, my name is Tando Mayeko and I'm from the Business Day. Mr. Shivambo, just please explain the banners behind you. I think you forgot to explain the name of this organization. What is it? Is it an NGO? Is it a church? What is it? And then what's this? Just please also kindly explain who is funding this organization. And then is MK still credible? And then just going back on your accusations of an intelligence report that was used against you by the MK national officials. Are you surprised that an intelligence report was used, considering that the State Capture Commission or the Zondo Commission found that former President Jacob Zuma used to use intelligence reports against his political defectors? Thanks.
Okay. Cindy Sontlabati from the Heartland Network. Mr. Floyd, you've characterized your session, your time now moving forward. And I would greatly like to know, in terms of the perspective of the vision of the South Africa that you dream of, maybe if you can give us the ultimate end goal, that is, this is the vision I have, or the vision we have as a collective that you are part of now, in terms of what is the South Africa that you are looking towards. Thank you.
Mr. Shivambu, Doreen Mukhulu here. Mr. Shivambo, Doreen Mukhulu here from Scholar Africa. I just want to find out, you're speaking about fake intelligence. I want to find out, were there any power dynamics within the party in the MK that, to a point that they had to make the fake intelligence to push you out?
It's a follow-up. Floyd, I asked about the issue of credibility. Look, you, on your own admission that having left the EFF, anyone that was perceived to be loyal to you, you believe that they were victimized. Are you still willing to now have more careers being destroyed by joining a new entity that you are forming? Should South Africans still regard you as a credible voice when you have served 11 years in an organization and now you are calling it a personal fiefdom? Where was the foresight then? Should you, as an educated man, shouldn't you have figured this out much earlier? And the same thing attitude would be adopted in case of MK, because you've been there for literally 10 months. That then raises the question of your own personal judgment, that you should have foresaw that there's trouble there, that Mr. Zuma is quite elderly and gullible, as you put it. So it speaks to your own personal judgment. Thanks.
I think that is your opinion. Let's give it to you. It's your own opinion. Like, it's not a question. Like, really, and we can't help you. And different people will have different perspectives in terms of what happens. I do know, Ntsiki, I think in conducting political work, like I think those that we have worked with before, the difficulty that they have is when we have got leadership responsibilities. One, I refuse to have private meetings or private engagements. So there is a lady from Mpumalanga who, I think it's called Mary or something like that. So the first meeting I attended of MK, there was a decision. I didn't even know who she is. There was a decision to expel her, and then another meeting. And actually, in the first meeting, I even said that, please don't expel comrades. It's too early. Let us go and engage with them. And it's in the minutes of MK that said, don't expel her. Further engagements and all of those things. Then another decision was taken, but some of the decisions had to be written and signed by me, even when you have expressed a different view inside. Then she asked for a private meeting to brief me. Then I said, I can't do that. And I said it actually in the national officials meeting that majority of times comrades would want to meet you privately and be buddy so that they are protected when they do wrong things in the organization. And that is the conduct that we got to deal with. You know, I'm very close to Mzobe. We always say that we have known each other for more than 20 years, but he was head of presidency. When I was doing wrong things, I'll write him a letter that you're not doing your work properly as head of presidency. And wrote it in an organizational report that Yes, and you will also give me criticisms as well that hey, you're too closed up and all of those things. But that is how organizations are run. You can't run it through friendship in terms of how you then get to conduct yourselves. But if there are other issues, we can be able to listen to that. MK is not tribalist. It's not a tribalist organization. There's no tribalism. I never got to encounter tribalism. But I know there are people who mischaracterize the organization because also it was still at its formative stages. So there are people who truly believe that it's an organization to liberate Zulu-speaking people. So, so there will be those who will say that, and they will say that to the president, and there are those who believed that, but it's not the overall character of MK. These extremely brilliant comrades and activists that are in Kontowe season who understand politics properly, organizing mobilization, and there's never been a problem of tribalism which can be elevated. I actually, like, I know there was an incident now of Teniso, brilliant young man who is the leader of the MK Youth League, made a legitimate, like, honest, innocent mistake about referring to Tsonga speaking people as Shangan and everything else. They like it. For some people, it lands well. For some people, it doesn't land well. But I think a substantial number take it derogatory as a derogatory reference. But he didn't mean bad. Like, he was not doing it in a vindictive and tribalist way. I know him that Teniso is a proper comrade who has got a bright future in the politics of South Africa. So there's no tribalism in the organization. I don't agree with the analysis of Julius about President Zuma. I don't. I've got to interact with him and all of those other things. But I know there are times where I think former president or former secretary general who was in the ANC, Halima Motlanthe, I think when he did an interview with Caesar, he said that the limitation with President Zuma is that sometimes he can be persuaded about an issue outside of organizational structures and want to take a decision based on what was the persuasion outside of organizational structures. So that becomes a dilemma for any, particularly as a Secretary General, because once you have taken resolutions collectively, your expectation is that you must collectively communicate and defend those resolutions. And that time he has now reconsidered the decisions that were taken before, and then it then becomes difficult to move forward in terms of I think that observation which I share was already communicated by president, former SG of the ANC, Halima Motlanthe, when President Zuma was in office. So that dynamic is a limitation generally, that he meets way too many people. And in the process, sometimes he meets people and then he says, and then those people interpret that as if he agreed to whatever they were saying. Like, and that is the dynamic. But I don't agree at all that he uses people. He is trusted by the people of KwaZulu-Natal and by the people of South Africa. The genuine building was to expand the message of what he stands for. And he is not opportunist in terms of how he communicates political principle. Like, even in closed spaces, there could be I'll give you an example, for instance, that the Moroccan embassy wanted to buy the position of MK to say that MK should support Morocco's operation over Western Sahara. And then there are those closer to him who visited Morocco, were promised money, and then they came back and said MK must agree with Morocco's operation of Western Sahara. Then when he realizes that they won't understand this, then he called me into the meeting. Then said to the Moroccan ambassador and political secretary that we are not going to agree with you. If we are going to have engagements with the Kingdom of Morocco, we must talk to the SADR here and the Polisario Front, which is the liberation movement fighting for the liberation of Western Sahara. And then we agreed on that principled positions. I wrote a letter on the 27th of March to the Polisario Front to say that the president will engage with you before he engages with Morocco, because it's now 50 years since the operation got to happen over Western Sahara by Morocco. And you saw what happened. Immediately we were suspended. What is that? Not suspended, that thing of redeployed. Then the Moroccan government issued a statement which is undersigned by Mkhonto we Sizwe to say that the Mkhonto we Sizwe supports its operation over Western Sahara. No meeting to discuss that, no national high command, no officials. Someone just says, and the people who did that, it's those who went to Morocco. Like, that is basically the whole thing. Like, there's no, and in the official record, in the minutes of the National High Command, is that President Zuma is going to mediate a discussion between Western Sahara Liberation Forces and Morocco to find a settlement. It has been going in for a very long time. But after, immediately we leave, because they couldn't do that in our presence, obviously. They couldn't. Then they saw an opportunity that, yeah, now we're going to maybe press that jukebox or to sing for us. And then and you can see that statement, which is issued in the name of MK, is written by the Moroccan embassy here in South Africa to impose a position on MK on the basis that there will be money exchanges. And that is also, even with this, you remember when we did a press conference, Muslim Judicial Council. So part of these scoundrels, they go to speak to the Muslim Judicial Council and say, no, please go and speak to President Zuma, say to him that he must remove the SG, and that is the only basis he'll give money. And then they go there and say, and you know, they against Israel. No, it's against Palestine. And that is going to cause problems. You must expel him so that we can give him condolences of money. That is so there's transactional issues that also guide decisions and policy that the whole issues. I wouldn't make a reference to Zondo, the judge. Like, I have no respect for Zondo, zero. And he actually made me to have much more deeper respect for President Zuma. Like, I have no respect for that nonsense of state capture and I've got no regard, none whatsoever of those. It can't be my point of reference on anything. Like, even the whole decision to get President Zuma arrested was absolute rubbish. Even that time as a deputy president of the EFF, I condemned that. I took international interviews. What happens? We funding for what? When we don't have an organization, we're going to listen. We're in a listening session. we're in a listening session. And if MK thinks that listening is a cause for termination of membership, so be it. It's not the first time. Like my membership of the ANC, I was not even expelled in the ANC, I was suspended. And I left. You know, this thing of political parties thinking that hey, people are desperate for their membership must come to an end. And that people must beg for membership. Control of all provinces, was possibly the only employer, had influence, and lots of friends and people that I knew throughout my life left. I left the ANC voluntarily when it had power. Why would I be perturbed about being expelled by Mkondo who doesn't have power? Like, what will be like? That is the issue. I don't beg membership of political organizations. I deal with these issues differently. You know, I used to say all the time to the DSG of Mkondo Sizwe that let's do our work. People can say whatever they want to say, they can scream and everything else. We take decisions, we implement, we go towards that are having by-elections. Before we went towards, the MK never used to win by-elections. We used to go towards to preside over volunteers without photos, without cameras, and pay attention to every little detail, and then we started to win wards. And then some people from parliament, they go a day before elections and they take photos there and they say, hey, we've delivered the word. After we've delivered it, Richmond we delivered. What goes out delivered? Mandeni we delivered. Like, and we do the work. And 3 months before the by-elections happens, we go there every week. And as we can't be entertaining who says what and everything else. I actually even told one of the provincial coordinators who said, hey, SJ, there are people who are talking about you here. They say you must be removed. I said, oh, man, don't ever send me such a message. Leave those things. If there's a decision to remove me, they will take it, but I'm not going to be sitting down and what about removal and everything else. That now we take decisions and then we implement what is mandated by the collective and then build an organization on what should happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of South Africa, thank you very much for having listened to us speak for a very long time. We will be visiting all parts of South Africa. Next week, we're going to be announcing the leadership structure that is going to be guiding the listening process, so that we then also will be announcing just where are we going to be visiting for community engagement and interactions with our people. That is how we get to be here. Thank you very much. We are availing ourselves to be at service. We are servants of the people who want to listen. If the guidance is that we must form a political party, we're going to do it decisively and lead our people towards prosperity and total emancipation. Thank you very much. Sabong.
Thank you, Comrade Shivambu. The press conference now is concluded. Thank you.
It's really a over.
Yeah, so let's just talk a little bit more about this. A bombshell.
Well, willing.
No, a bombshell. That's a bombshell, but I think he's scared of
Quite
explaining.
interesting. Really list. Bigger picture is that
Oh,
Floyd
let me
getting
just
doesn't want
get rid of the sound here. There's still a sound
some of the
coming
things
from here.
that
Okay. Let's go back here. Let me check if my microphone is on. My microphone is on. I think, okay, I'll just say stuff here. He said next week he will be announcing the leadership structure, and he left the ANC when he had power. So there's not going to be any problem for him to leave MK while he doesn't have a power. And the intelligence report states that he wanted to overthrow the president, Jacob Zuma, and he said he's not political tourist. So he will do that. He will travel to people to different provinces, and the primary place to travel to is KwaZulu Natal. He said he has worked everywhere in South Africa and he wanted to start a new party, but he learned a lot from MK than in EFF. So in MK, he's been there for close to 10 months. And yeah, he's been there for 10 months, but he's been in EFF for 10 years, or more than 10 years. But he has learned a lot from MK. I guess that's just to cover up so that there's not much, bad things coming from MK. Process of starting a new party. This is the process of starting a new party and going to the ground, going to the people, consulting people, announcing the leadership call. So all the gender balance will be there in a new party. MK is not. I don't know. He's just mixing words. From the beginning, he said MK is a tribal party, it's a family party, and he doesn't want to be part of that. In Floyd, Shivambo was told not to go back to EFF by many people called him. He was also told not to go back to the ANC. And he said EFF is political cult or fiefdom. It's I think MK is a fiefdom and EFF is a cult. It's very dangerous to form a family party. And like he says good things about MK and then he says negative things about MK simultaneously. Political parties should be consulting South Africans, not a personal project. So this wouldn't be a personal cult or a personal project. And they're starting this kind of an interim, consulting religious groups across South Africa. And Floyd Shivambo is consulting all South Africans to start a new party. That's the bottom line here. Not very clear, but I mean it's out there. But there will be values and principles in this new party, and how the political party should be funded, even if he has to work, hike with his members. It's not the first time he has done this, and he started this since he was in ANC. So he keeps starting new parties, new parties. The difference is that he's going to be obviously a leader of this new party, so that he can be able to initiate, and implement and have a voice. For Shivambo is going to go back to KwaZulu Natal, Eastern Cape, and Northwest. These are three strategic provinces that he has mentioned. And the journalist asked me a question like, what about the credibility? Because you have said different things from different parties, you've studied different parties, and people don't trust you, and because of what you say and what you believe in and your acts. So you get funding from the white monopoly, but you're still fighting the white monopoly. Where you getting all this funding? So they asked me these questions. So I said, you will walk. As I said, he will hike. He hasn't left MK. He's waiting to be expelled. He has not resigned. And looks like he hasn't spoken to Jacob Zuma yet with and about the findings from the intelligence report. How long has he been doing this process? He has already mentioned he has been doing this since he was in the ANC, since he was young, and he has already started this. What is the name of the structure, the political party? They have asked me that question. If MK expels him because of breaching this constitution of the MK, he is ready to do anything. He's ready, he can be expelled. This is just a small party and it doesn't have a power. MK doesn't have power, it's a small party, and ANC had the powers. So he also left the party willingly. So, but looks like he's not leaving MK. He's waiting to be expelled. Obviously, after the speech, he is going to be expelled. Perhaps has already been expelled, but not officially on paper. So, but he said he has learned a lot from 6 months that has been in the MK, but it looks like it's been there. Yeah, the MK has been like there for like 10 months. And but he has learned a lot from MK, then he has learned in 10 years in EFF. And um, so many members from ANC, MK, EFF, they're afraid to speak against their leaders. So his new party is going to make sure everybody's going to have a voice. Everybody's, grievances should be heard. He doesn't want people, drug users who tweets, wrong things, and he wants to hear it from the horse's mouth. What happened to Unity? He did not answer that. We used you like destabilize EFF. Did you want to destabilize EFF or MK, whatever? He didn't answer that. Who are those people stealing the money? He didn't answer much of that. I just said there's some people that wanted to, the Morocco embassy wanted to Zuma to actually help the government of Morocco to suppress the people of the Western Sahara. The last, so it's funding coming from Bushiri. He says, no, it's not coming from Bushiri. He didn't elaborate, but it's given, obviously. They gave him money. The church had to give you money so that you can help it to reestablish itself. Are you ready for consequences if people ask you to report it back to you? He didn't answer that. I don't regret leaving an EFF. The conduct of EFF in Parliament, those people knew that he was leaving, and people have been leaving EFF. Jacob Zuma uses his people. He doesn't use people. First he said he uses people, then they said he doesn't use people. Morocco had given Zuma money, for Morocco wanted to give him money. Oh, things is just, you can't hear exactly what he's trying to say. Government or praise what Western Sahara, all those things, it's difficult to understand. Zuma expected it that MK must accept that. That's the problem with Zuma. Suppose we thought that Zuma was going to mediate, not to get money from Morocco. Transaction issues that guide the party can get mixed up in this. So that's corruption, I guess he's talking about. Mismanaging the funds. Do you mismanage the funds? He didn't answer that. It's difficult. Are you difficult to work with? No, I refuse to have private meetings with the people, so that's why they say I'm difficult to work with. So it means that when Malema said it, let's have a meeting, he refused. When Zuma said, let's have a meeting, he refused. So he always refuses. So you can't run organizations like that. You will mobilize, he will mobilize EFF members, MK members, and AC members to his to come to his party. Yes, he will do that. Definitely has already said that. The banner behind him, he didn't explain that, the banner behind him. Are you surprised that the intelligence report, he didn't say much about? South Africa's dream, what's your dream? He didn't answer that. Power dynamics in MK, he said that Zulu, it's MK is not a Zulu party, it's not a tribal party, but it's just that some people, the way they behave in the MK, it makes it to be a tribal party. Drug users who just sit behind any tweets, and it behaves like give example of calling him calling him a Shangani. So he doesn't agree with Julius Malema. He is regard to Zuma. Zuma takes decisions and the resolutions outside the organizations. It's just not adding up. About his credibility, are you trusted? How people will trust you? He said he left the ANC when he had power, whatever, all those things. So he doesn't. Yeah, So that's his point. So guys, I don't know. Rosa Makanya, small minds hates to see others rise. Floyd, rise, you are going to lead us. You have experience and leadership skills. Whoa, so there you go. Rose believes that there's going to be leadership skills in coming from Floyd Shivambo. There's always, it's going to be amazing to see, to learn from his experience from the ANC, Rose Makanya. It's going to be interesting to see that a person from with his experience from coming from the ANC, African National Congress, and moving moving on to EFF and starting EFF, establishing it and writing his constitution, and from his experience of working with the people, it's just that maybe understanding that you need to. Okay. Let me just point out, Rose Makanya. He says he does not believe in having a meeting, private meeting. So if it, I'm not saying but I mean there are certain things that can only be discussed behind closed doors. So if President Jacob Zuma calls him to have a private meeting, what do you think, Rose Makanya? Do you think this is wrong to have a meeting? If Julius Malema of EFF calls him to a private meeting, is it not possible to have a meeting and to take decisions? So that's, I think for me, it's more problematic. So looks like I don't know if he's a is if Jacob if what's his name, man? This guy. Floyd Shivambo, if Floyd Shivambo refuses to have a private meeting, is he a power monger? Because already it indicates that I think Floyd Shivambo is scared sometimes, because he could have started his own party without having Julius Malema. He could have started his own party without joining MK. Why he did not start a new party, leave EFF and start a new party? And I think it was going to be easier, much easier for him. But I think what he has done is he knew he was going to leave ANC and to start his own party, but he wasn't ready. I think he knew after starting EFF to mobilize people. He just wanted to have that experience. He did. I think when he was in EFF, he had been planning to start a new party, new political party, but he thought of joining another party. He could have a pull, when he starts a new party. Because looking at what he says, he has people. He's going to mobilize people from ANC. He's going to mobilize people from EFF. He's going to mobilize people from MK. So he knew. By next week, he's going to announce the leadership structure. What is that thing when he says he's going to announce the leadership structure? Because he knows very, very soon, today or tomorrow, MK has to respond. Has to respond to this press conference. He has said he has not left MK, and he's basically expecting that they will call him to order, because he understands the constitution, which he helps to draw. And in MK, he understands that you're not allowed to have a press conference outside the MK. That's what the constitution states. So he understands that he will be called to order or he will be expelled. And that's what he's expecting. And obviously, when you've been expelled from the party, from MK, people are going to feel sorry for you. And when people feel sorry for you, and people join you. So that's my take on that. And while staying on that, I would also point out that he's actually already starting a new party. There's no way of going back. Consultation is called canvassing. That's what it means. When you start a new party, the next thing you have to do is to mobilize. So he has changed the wording from mobilizing to consultation. Consultation and mobilizing, it's almost, or canvassing. These three words are interchangeable. You can't say you're going to consult. Consultation. You're going to consult, and the party is not there yet before you can start the party. But what's the difference between consultation and consultation and mobilizing or canvassing? We need to get the meaning of this, because he says the party is not there, and he has not commented on whether there's the name of the party. So what is the name of the party? And so I'm checking right now. What is canvassing? What is canvassing? The difference between canvassing difference. Okay, I just want to understand what's the difference between canvassing and mobilization. Okay, so getting the canvas, defining canvassing plays a crucial role in civic engagement in political campaigns. Yeah, so okay, I'm just gonna feed this part here into so that we understand what is canvassing. Let me just feed you this one. I don't know. I wanted to have two to edit to, so we can do this. Let's do this. Let's see if this works out. No. What I meant is this. Okay, cool. So I want to add another window so that it makes sense. Okay, cool. So how do I add? So I'm gonna add. I want to add this slide here. I want to edit this search so that we all looking at what consultation means. So here it is. All right, so you can see there what is consultation. I don't know, this is we just want to get what it means. So I'm gonna bring it here, here. I don't know if you guys can see there, but this is called in literature is a political mobilization. This is what it means. Research agenda beyond typical canvassing. So where I have highlight is a political mobilization. That's what canvassing is, oh, you guys cannot see properly there, but it's a political mobilization. So let's look at consultation, the difference between consultation and is actually, this is campaigning for the consultation and mobilization are distinct process, though they can be related. Consultation focuses on gathering information, okay, I see, and opinions, often through communication and discussions to inform decision making. So also here, let's take the one that says to inform decision making, I guess. And also it's mobilization, so all these things comes into one. On the other hand, it's about organizing and preparing resources. Yes, there you go. It's also because he's doing a consultation, is also is looking for funds. I think that's the whole idea, to fund the party. My take is this one here. Consultation is about organizing and preparing your resources. This can be money, resources, and stuff like that. Resources, this entails the money, materials, and people. So this consultation is talking about is to look for funds, guys. That's my bottom line. He's going to look for funds. That's all. Looking for funds. This guy is going to look for funds. I'm going to paste it here. Let me just paste it here. To look for funds. What is consultation? I'm going to paste it, these things here so that we all have a look for those ones who are using mobile phones to watch. Let me just copy and paste. Copy and paste it so that it's got a visibility. Okay. Copy the whole thing. Okay, cool. There you go. So that's what it means there. Consultation and mobilization are distinct processes, though they can be related. Consultation, they are related. That's the bottom line. Consultation, that's what Floyd Shivambo is trying to do. He said consultation. That's what he wants to do. Consultation focuses on gathering information and opinions. But I think the main one is this one here. Mobilizing, on the other hand, is about organizing and preparing resources, people, materials. And this material here is money, nothing else. This is money. He has to look for money to fund this political party. He has money already from Bushiri. He has obviously gotten the money from Bushiri. Whichever way this money is going to come in, will fund his party. And to make sure that Bushiri's case goes away, the fugitive. So what he's gonna, the main thing he's gonna do, I don't know how many billions he's gonna get from Bushiri, but there's gonna be substantial and potential, funding from Bushiri. That is the main thing. So consultation is gonna be like looking for money. That's all. The gentleman is going to look for money. Period. That's what he's going to do. He's going to look for money. We shouldn't get misled here. So I'm gonna pass here some of the things that he said step by step. Let me just take this one here and put it somewhere here. Okay, so let's do this. So he's going to look for funding. That's the bottom line, guys. He's going to look for funding. This consultation, the bottom line is to look for funding. The other thing that he mentioned is that, which I'm going to put it here, I'm going to display it right in front of you. Let's take this one here. Next week, we will be announcing the leadership structure. Okay, understand. Next week, we will be announcing the leadership structure. So next week, he will be announcing that leadership structure. There's going to be, so the party is on. Consultation is looking for funding, looking for resources, looking for people, looking for opinions, is to mobilize. That's the whole thing that's happening, in case you have no idea. So that's what he's going to do here. He's going to mobilize the people. He's going to mobilize the people. He's going to look for funding, and that's what he's going to do. Very, very interesting developments. But the fact of the matter that I don't think he knows how to speak. Is different. Consultation, mobilization, or whatever. I don't think he knows how to speak. He should have just said these things very properly. Just be clear. It's not. That's why I'm thinking that he is difficult to work with. Shivambo, Floyd is difficult to work with because he's not straightforward. But I don't understand. It's difficult to work with. Floyd is going to do consultation. Is going to do consultation. Consultation in the mobilization. Consultation and mobilization is the same thing. So he's going to mobilize and to make sure he gets what? He communicates his opinions of starting a new party, or gathering information and to get everybody to agree with him, gathering information, opinions, and even communication through communication and discussions, and informing people about his new party, about starting a new party. About starting a new party. So I'm writing while I'm thinking about this, because starting a new party, he's already starting a new party, so he's going to do consultation in order to mobilize people and to organize and prepare their resources. And I'm going to post these things again: organizing and preparing resources. That is to organize people, material, and money. Mostly is money. Money, to start a new party, you need money. So he's going to go to the same white people. And because it's good with the relationship he has with the white people, you have also no idea whether the white people, white monopoly, will give him money because the whole idea we say was to destabilize. Is a guy who's coming to destabilize. Floyd is going to destabilize all these ideas that destabilize the ideas of MK, the ideas of EFF. Floyd to destabilize the ideas that these guys have. You know, that is the only way. That is the only way to destabilize. I don't even know how to spell destabilize, but Floyd would destabilize all the ideas, our ideologies that EFF and MK are pursuing. I mean, this is just what I'm thinking. So to achieve that, he has to gather the input, about all the whole thing. That's the opinion, point of view. That's the point of view. That's POV. I don't know what you guys are thinking, but to me, that's what it means. It's going to do consultation, and that's what is going to happen. That is what's going to happen. Let's save that. Let's go back here. And I don't know, guys, what's your take? Anybody can put a comment if you want, but my opinion, my POV is that he's going to destabilize. That's it. So let's just go back. Let's go to it. Okay. Let's see. Here I've said that Floyd to destabilize all the ideologies that EFF and MK are pursuing, including, I guess, the ANC. But ANC has President Ramaphosa. Floyd is going to do consultation and mobilize and gather information and opinions, often through communication, and discuss this. That is the problem. That's what it is right now here. Let's go back to it. What's another thing that I can analyze? Okay, that he said. Okay, where Shivambo wanted to overthrow. Okay, let's go to this one here. When Shivambo, they said he wanted to overthrow the party. That's he wanted to overthrow the party. Sure. Guys, we should not forget that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to overthrow. Allegedly, he has said that Floyd wanted to overthrow the. I need to analyze these things properly. I'm actually a professional analysis, but I'm learning how to work around these things. I'm a professional actually. So let's just look at this. Okay, cool. I want us to study those things that he's talking about. So he says that the intelligence report says that Shivambo wanted to overthrow he wanted to overthrow. That's the whole idea here. He wanted to overthrow. So what's your take, guys, when this guy wanted to overthrow? Okay, let's just put it here so we can discuss here. He wanted to overthrow. Yeah. Allegedly, Floyd Shivambo wanted to overthrow President Jacob Zuma. That's according to the intelligence. He's not a political terrorist. So I want us to deal with it one by one. So I will just take only that part. Okay. I'll just take only that part that allegedly he wanted to overthrow President Jacob Zuma. Let's check what the internet is also saying, because here could be since I'm feeding this information, also you guys can see. Let me just take out this and put. I'm learning how to do this analysis here. 1 hour ago, Shivambo explains why he was removed. Okay, so hey, so wait, I can write it so fast, huh? Shivambo explains why he was removed as MK secretary. That is just by this Moloi, who was just reading a reporter. He was just that. I see that. The mic was muted. So cool. I'm gonna have to start all over again. I didn't notice that my mic was muted, but as I indicated, that let's see what others are saying. I mean, actually, we are others. Allegedly, Floyd Shivambo wanted to overthrow President Zuma, so he has denied, but he really did. He traveled. He went to other countries. So it's very important to look at this. Let's see what others are saying. Okay, this is very important. Starting a new part. The first thing is denying the intelligence, the fake. He's calling it the fake intelligence report. Fake intelligence report. Shivambo failed overthrows Zuma. Bushiri funding and is not gonna join whatever. So fake news. It's calling it the fake news. Failed overthrow Zuma, but starting looking for funding for a new party. So that's amazing. That's the development. But now I'm interested to know what else is going on here. Let's see. 17 people are watching here. So guys, I just switched on my microphone. I had no idea that the whole time my microphone was off. So we are going to go straight. I don't want to disappoint you guys. I just want to check what others are saying so that it's consultative. Shivambo, my dear friend. What is your problem? Let's see. I'm dying to know. Shivambo to form a new party. Okay, SABC. You.
Seems hanging in the balance. He'd been hailed in the past as the brains behind the EFF's policy in its formative stages and for later helping to draft the MK party's constitution while building its structures. But during the
Okay, guys, I don't know if you can hear that. So just to share with the people that are here, this is SABC is actually informing people, is telling people that it's gonna form a new party. That's the whole idea. It's confirmed even by the SABC, that it's telling people that it's gonna form a new party. That's the whole idea here. He's gonna form a new party. That's the bottom line. So let's hear more about him. Let's hear more about this gentleman here, so that we all hear what SABC is also saying. Hey, where am I, guys? I'm still looking because I posted this video, so now I need to find. Okay, cool. Okay. A little bit of this. I just want to check this person first here. Oh my God, I'm out. I'm out. Guys, just bear with me. Those people that are watching right now, bear with me. I'm just trying to get used to how this thing works. I need to patch that. I need to put that thing back. Okay, here we go.
Organization's Youth Day commemorations in Durban earlier this week, party leader Jacob Zuma informed members there that they won't tolerate any ill discipline among high-ranking officials. Of course, that was seen as a veiled swipe at Floyd Shivambu
So we're going to look
himself.
at the different.
Let's make sense of these political developments in the lead up to that much anticipated briefing at midday. Bring in now SABC News politics editor, Zandile Mbeje, who's with us in our studios. Great to see you indeed. Thanks very much for joining us. It is remarkable what has happened in the 10 months since Floyd Shivambu announced that he was leaving the EFF. Many people's jaws were on the floor back then, and I think many jaws are on the floor even now.
You know, whoever came up with, well, it's not a slogan in South Africa, but a saying that basically goes like, South Africa is alive with possibilities.
Yeah.
Probably knew how this country pans out when it relates to...
Sorry, let me interrupt you there. Apologies. We seem to be having issues with your mic. Apparently, we can't really make out what you are saying. And I know there's a lot of poetry in there, which, of course, needs to be heard by our viewers. So let's get that sorted out, by the way, while I tell you a bit more about Floyd Shivambu and what we know about him. He, of course, started his political career in the ANC Youth League. At least that's when there was a whole lot more attention on him. And even then, it wasn't smooth sailing, as it were. Between 2008 and 2011, Shivambu served as the ANC Youth League spokesperson until his suspension in 2011. Fast forward to February of 2012, that's when he was slapped with a suspension letter from the ANC for 3 years. And that was for swearing at a journalist and for calling for regime change in Botswana. It was in about May of 2014 that he ultimately became an EFF MP. But before that, Shivambu, together with Julius Malema, as well as several others, co-founded the EFF. That was in July of 2013. And just over a year later, Shivambu was elected the EFF deputy president. And of course, it was on the 15th of August last year. That's when the bombshell was dropped.
So,
I still remember the day.
For the sake of copyrights, we will not show the whole video. I was waiting for him to get to the point. Was this, yeah, cryptic message. Man, just don't know. Okay, so cool. Let me just do this quickly.
Because if you look at how we move as a country, not only political, but generally, so we are a special breed of people. So clearly in politics, it's even more interesting because it plays itself out very interestingly. So something you could never have thought of just appears to happen. I mean...
So you can hear that he says that South Africa is alive.
Then given the history and what had happened. So 10 months later, after the role that he has played in the MK, so we are in the MK party, so we are now talking about the possibility of him moving on. So that is quite interesting. But of course, as they say, a day is a very long time in politics.
Absolutely. And of course, all of this is very speculative until 12 o'clock when we finally get official word. But a lot has been said about him possibly moving out of the MK party. And so I wonder what you reckon is actually taking place behind closed doors here. I mean, Floyd Shivambu as an individual was thought to have been a very calculated politician. He'd never really makes a move without really considering what might happen a few steps after that. But here we are in a scenario where it seems he may have kind of misstepped here.
I think, you know, in my own looking at of the situation and the MK in general and the politics of our country,
But,
I think this is what could...
Yeah, I think just to indicate that I think I'm just trying to get to the gist of what the guy is saying, but I think it's saying a little bit. Yeah, let's just listen again. I
a
think
persona
the bottom
of
line here
President
is that
Zuma, with his influence being able to
I'm just
attract
trying to find out
voters,
where
mainly in KZN, Gauteng, Mpumalanga, and
that I'm gonna see
here and
a
there
lot of
across the country. So, with no solid foundation in terms
I'm
of the
just thinking like,
structure as the party,
hope I
because
don't get
when all is said and
copyrights on
done,
this,
so you can use your influence, your
let
persona,
this one
but
play
beyond
for
that,
the party.
You need to run
so
a party.
you need to run a
my hope is
party,
to
and that's where
understand,
many people thought
what
when
would-
Floyd came in,
what would
given
others
his
say,
history and how he's been
but I
able
see that
to
there's not much of a
really be part
people
of
saying
three
they're
things,
waiting
he was
to
going to
compile
be
their own,
actually very resourceful, and I think
are waiting to compile their own analysis. But I'm gonna do my analysis over here. Let me just take out this, because this video keeps playing and I don't want.
though all that was blamed on the fact that there was no proper structure in terms of who to communicate with Floyd coming in, so you started seeing those structures coming into place, and then clearly seeing that now the party is starting to stand on its own. So, but because of how the party came about and some of the individuals who may have been there right from the beginning had a very vested interest. In fact, it doesn't matter how it ended, the issue of Duduzile Zuma and Floyd when she went on Twitter to basically insult Floyd. That said so much about what we do not know. Because to label him as a Fikizolo and all sorts of things. So that did give you an indication that some people may feel somewhat otherwise. And then that does appear in the decision making. I mean, when the decision to remove Floyd was then made, I mean, you could have seen some of the membership of the MK itself basically saying,
I'm gonna remove. I'm gonna stop this because I really don't know where this. Let's see what other comments are saying. It's gonna be interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna feed it back just to read the comments and see what people are saying out there. So I'm gonna put it back just for the comments. I'm gonna read these comments and put them on there. This guy is got Samson Ndlovu. So Samson Ndlovu says, let me just copy this. Okay, I'm gonna start from the beginning. He is gonna be shame. What a downfall. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna put this one here. So we can analyze what others have said, on a SABC thing, and feed it there. Okay, this is from SABC at Tapelo Matabele, He says minutes ago, okay, that's okay. He says he's gonna be just like AC Magashule, I guess. Shame. What a downfall. Yeah, so that's what other people are saying there. Shame. What a downfall. That's a strong word. That's a really, really strong word. Shame. What a down. What does that mean? It means that it's a shame, So, but is it? The question is, I would like to ask: is this a downfall, or is this the beginning? Is this a downfall, or is this a beginning? I could assume that maybe this could be the beginning, not the downfall, as my friend there seems to suggest. I don't think it's the downfall. I think it's the beginning, because he's going to start a new party. That's the bottom line. The guy is going to start a new party. The guy is going to start a new party. So it's not a downfall, Tapelo. This is the beginning. This is the beginning, my friend. This is the beginning. It's not the downfall. Okay, what else is there? Okay, let's look for something else again. Oh my God, downfall. This is the downfall. It's not the downfall. It's not the downfall. Let's take another comment. Another comment comes from Aminasi. I don't know. Let's see how it works. Aminasi. It's very interesting to read people's comments. This one also is from what's his name? Okay, we're waiting for it to come in. It's nice to read other people's comments without comment. My comment is reserved. So let's read another comment. Trouble. Okay, cool. It's coming. It's still coming. Okay, let's try again. I think it was too long or something like that. This one is from Tapi. I'm gonna read it because it's Tapi. It says, okay, I managed to get it. Here we are. Anania Simu Tabio. This one also he commented on SABC. This guy says, this guy is just confused and he just don't know what to do. No need for new black party. He wants to lead and control like everyone. Every organization have a leader and he don't speak. Wow. Tapel. Yeah, that's a comment there. That's a comment right there. That's a comment right there. You know, that's a comment right there. Okay, let me feed it this one here. I think I can feed it here. Oh yeah, it's there already. So you can see there. So in order for us to highlight that comment, we're just gonna copy it and bring it over here. As you can see, I'll copy it here and paste it here so that we can see also from the SBC. Tapel, if you can come across your comment, I'm gonna broadcast it here on the live video. And so this one is let me see. This one's from where? Where is it now? So I just put a comment just now here. Oh, it's the same one. Okay, let me take another one then. Let me take another one. Let me take another comment. This one, this guy is confused. This one says this guy is confused. Let's go to Samson. Samson Glovu. Samson Glovu. Let's go to Samson Glovu. So what is Samson Glovu saying? Samson Glovu also commented about 40 minutes ago. Samson Glovu says Floyd is having a chest pain. He's angry for being broke. That sounds like that, because the whole idea of, he says Samson, remember, this guy said even if he has to hike, it doesn't matter. He's gonna hike. He has to hike, he's gonna hike. He's gonna hike. That's what he said. But I see many of negative I see many negative comments. Anyway, people are expressing themselves. But when I say negative, I don't say the people that are commenting are negative. I'm trying to say that they're saying this guy is angry, he's confused, he's hungry, he wants money and stuff like that. You know. So there's a lot to be said here. Let's look at PJ. PJJ. He says, that is 49 minutes ago. He says he's now fighting EFF and MK and ANC. PJ, he's not fighting. He didn't say he's fighting them. He said, I need to translate this. I'm going with Floyd myself. Oh, so finally we got somebody there who's going to go. He's going to join the party. Maybe you are going, Mandla. Maybe you're going to get something there. You never know. You never know. You're going to get something. I'm sure you're going to get something. I'm sure you're going to get something. So what are you saying? So Mandla, okay, that is 28 minutes ago. He says, I'm going with Floyd myself. So you see, people are there to follow you, man. If you don't care what's happening, analysis, whatever you're analyzing, you know, including Kenny Kunene. Kenny Kunene also is coming. You never know, man. Maybe he's also coming, but let's hear what others are saying. So how many comments are here, man? Yo, I'm not gonna sit here the entire day. I'm gonna stop somewhere here. So we're not far from. I think we're gonna start taking two comments at a time, or 5 comments at a time. All right, let's do this. Let's take 5 comments. Is it possible to take 5 comments so that we can analyze them. Not analyze, there's nothing to analyze. These guys are already analysis, keyboard analysis. You know, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. We take all of them at the same time. You know, so we just need to spread them here and see what exactly these comments, if this comment seems to be valid, man. This comment seems to be valid. Ooh, are we gonna be able to see them? Let's see. Okay, I can just, in the meantime, I can just edit a little bit, you know, so that they don't look, so we can, the whole idea of copying and pasting here is just to make sure that we can see them clear. So if I take the bigger one, we must be able to see in who posted it. So I've taken about, I think, 5, 6 at the moment in one time. PJ keeps commenting. So guys, just have a moment. I just want to paste the comments that from the SABC, they're right there here. If you comment there, that side, your comments will appear here. Let's see. Okay, cool. I think I got it. PJ again said they will keep his party launched. Oh, okay, so I see. Okay, let's start with this one here. Holote getaway. Okay, for 5 minutes ago. He did his best to praise Singh. Praise Singh. Oh my goodness, my dear. He did his best to praise Singh Zuma even more. Yeah, he praised Singh. I think this is a cowardness, man. I think it is just to bribe Zuma not to expel him from MK so that he can come loot their membership as possible. Oh my goodness. Okay. This one says his party is launched in the coming weeks. Okay. Okay. So HGQF. Yo. What was that? 1 hour ago, he says it's going to be very risky to trust Shivambo for his new party. You know, Floyd is one of the politicians that will fail. Okay, so you think that is gonna fail? And who and what support EFF MK? Now his own party getaway. Okay, we don't need a Floyd party. PJJ comes back again 48 minutes ago. Daughter say he's still money. He's still MK money. Oh, I wonder how much he stole. Oh, Mabuse Le Duabo says 45 minutes ago says it's not long ago he was lamenting the existence of fiefdoms. Okay, that's how you spell fiefdom. Okay, I see. That's how you spell it. Thank you. In our political sphere. And the need to extinct them. He also emphasized the paramount need for Black parties to unite under one umbrella. But how does he say, you know what, this is weird. If he wants to unite the party, how would you still say you don't trust, you don't, agree with, okay, he said he doesn't agree with Julius Malema. But I think he's trying to unite, guys. No, he's trying to unite. No. He's trying to unite. He is trying to unite because he said he doesn't hate. He doesn't hate. What you call this? He doesn't hate Zuma. That's what he said. He doesn't hate Zuma. He doesn't hate MK. He doesn't hate what you call this? He doesn't hate MK. He doesn't hate. Guys, I think we need to understand. This guy, I think, is trying to bring all this party together. I think as soon as he said so. He said he's gonna speak to the. He's gonna speak to. He's gonna speak to what you call this. He's going to speak to. What did I just do there? Let's check here. Let's check here. Come on, Kemo no Hengi. You said was listening. He never said that. He said he was going to consult over the coming months to see if there is a deed or a need. Get your facts right. You know, what about? Okay, so you edited Peru Gwana. You said, what about the VBS money scandal? How is he even able to register the party? He can register. I think he got the money from Bashir. I'm trusting he's got this. You know, it's only April. So Livy Mesia says like we are done with Zuma. Okay, cool. So you're going to join, I think. Saneli Siwe Zungu says MK did Shivambo did a data work or whatever. Guys, I was supposed to put this together, but anyway, this is the last part of this. There's nothing this side, so let's check. MK, I knew it from the beginning, but he failed just like others. Kuzovela munye futhi. Uyabanjwa lakwa MK akudlalwa. Hey, but yeah, I think you're right. What if MK arrest MK sues Floyd Shivambo for stealing money if they have got evidence? He also has to trade, to trade carefully, because you don't know what will happen to him. The whole thing of starting a new party is to make sure that whatever evidence they have of him stealing money, it's substantial, and he must make sure that he takes it away. Yo, guys, let me just say this. The two people watching, it means that now I have to go. It's a sign I have to go. So, but you will see on the description that I've indicated. If only two people watching, I think it's time to go. Guys, it was nice talking to you. I'm going to end the stream. It's been really, really nice. And Rose Makanya, thank you for coming through. I will check if you got any channel on your. So we also gonna check what others are saying, in their analysis later on. I think today, the comments only ends here. But the thing is, I don't see after this. I don't see anybody who has been analyzing this. I think only the newspapers. So that seems to have said something here. I see 5 people are still coming back. All right, so let's just check the newspapers anyway, what the newspapers are saying, because there should be comments in the newspaper. There should be comments. There should be comments. They've got 5,000 people watching already that side. So let's check what the newspapers are saying, because I don't see, honestly, I don't see anybody breaking down this thing. Daily Sun, let's see Daily Sun 1 hour ago. What is Daily Sun? And check their comments as well. First, I would like to see the comments. Oh, shucks. Okay, let me see if this one appears here. All right, cool. So we have but why are the pictures like this? Why does it look burned out? What do they look? Why does it look like they're both looking the same, like both old people? Floyd Shivambo plans to consult on forming a new party. The former Secretary General of the Umkhonto weSizwe MK party revealed it during a highly anticipated press conference in Midrand on Thursday. So that's today, 19 June, that he won't remain idle. Instead, he's embarking on a consultation process to discuss the possibility of starting his own political party. For weeks, the nation was abuzz with speculation about Shivambu's next move after his rocky. So you see, each newspaper is reporting its own things. Let me see comments. Why are people not commenting, or they're just reading? And I don't see any comments here. Who is going to sign with the traitor? Oh, there's another comment here. Okay. Close. Oh my God, what did I just do? Okay, there's a comment here. Who's going to sign with the traitor? Only one comment. Who is going to sign with the new traitor? Is this, can you one copy this so that I can put it on the other side? Everybody can see that side. Because I know you guys cannot see it properly there. Oh my God, you have to, what I have to do, what? Let me just read it to you guys. Okay, who is going to align with a traitor who is a friend to a fugitive who stole from the poor civilians? Bushiri might be his ally. Yes, of course, or a sponsor to establish this new party. Definitely, my friend, Takens. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. You see, I'm not allowed to. Basically, what do they want me to do? To sign up? Huh? Sorry, I won't be signing up. So, Bushiri, this looks like a Bushiri, my friend. No matter what he's gonna deny, but Bushiri pays for his. This is Bushiri's money. Bushiri wants to make sure that they fight together. Both of them will fight together. The witness, what is the witness saying? I'm looking for comments. This we already know what he said. The main points. Floyd Shivambu announces plans to launch new political party. Says the EFF has been cult. Okay, I agree with you. There you are. I mean, I must allow this things is not correct. Okay, we read that also by. So I'm interested in the comments. What what are the comments saying? Oh my God, you don't have comments. Oh, how many times you want me to? You crazy. First, Shivambu announces plans to launch new party. Malema unmoved by Shivambu's MK's wars. Shivambu, the latest casualty in MK party purge. He said he's not looking to the president. Is not looking to the president of the party. My voice is much clearer without a leadership position. My friend, you're speaking so many languages at the same time. You are speaking so many languages at the same time. You're really speaking so many languages. Let me just read what is he saying. Former EFF president and deputy president and briefly MK Party Secretary General Floyd Shivambo has announced plans to form a new political party, declaring he will not return to either the EFF or the ANC. But he doesn't say he's not going to return to MK. Did he say so? Why can't he just say so? Shivambo, who made a headline in August last year, when what we know the story. Why do you guys go back when you write your stuff? However, his role in MK changed when he was removed. Okay, now stepping out of his own, Shivambo has made it clear he is forging a new political path. I will not join the ANC. I will not go back to EFF. A political party should not be a family affair or a personal project. Yes. Although he has made an announcement about new political party, Shivambu said he has not yet resigned from the MK party. The MK party, however, has distanced itself from the briefing. He criticized the EFF leadership, calling it a cult. So if you're starting a new party, why are you criticizing? Why can't you just start your own party, bro? You said you don't speak bad about other political parties, but now you are. He said consultations are already underway on the ground with a focus on engaging communities and the youth. We will go to the ground to speak to the people, talk to young people. He said a leadership core of the party will be announced in a due course with a commitment to gender balance and inclusive representation. He said he's not looking to the president of the party. My voice is much clearer. Bro. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens, my bro. We'll see. People are watching. People are watching. But you know what? I wanted to look at comments. Okay, let's 7 hours ago. Don't you have something new? 2 minutes. This is 2 minutes. This is So Shivambo likely to launch new political party. Likely. Yeah. You guys know how to write news, huh? This guy is starting a new party, my friend. Huh? Io. He's starting a new party. You can't say likely. He said consultation. It means he needs to mobilize. He needs to make it look as if this money does not come from Bushiri. It comes from a consultation that he's going to do. Do you understand his word by word, and the evidence of him going to Bushiri and consulting with the different people across Namibia? He went to Namibia. He went to Malawi. He got the money. Consultation is just to clean up that money. Sources close to former Mkondo Party Secretary Floyd Shivambo have revealed to FAiLed that Shivambo is expected to launch a new political party. Sources, where did you guys write this? What are you saying, sources? They had a press conference, my friend. Shivambo is anticipated to make the official announcement in a media briefing on Johannesburg. Okay, cool. So you wrote this things long ago. So what's news? Let's go. What's news? What's new? You haven't written anything yet. Yeah, you haven't written anything. Yes. Okay, cool. Maybe this one here. Let's see. When did they publish this one? I don't see. Shivambo. Maybe this one. For Shivambo plots new political party. Yeah, the same one. Oh gosh. What are you doing? Are you having a meeting? Then you're gonna write the proper articles. Sad. Okay, let's go to other people now. Anything new? Because this media is just writing everything that's just forging. I mean, just writing everything that's. I don't see much here. Oh gosh. What's going on in media? Where's the media, man? Huh? Where's the media? Yeah, this one at least here. I want to look at the comments. That's the whole idea. Comments. Comments. There's enough comments here. What you call EWN. MK has distanced itself from media briefing. Okay, we know that. Shivambo was recently demoted on an ordinary member by the party following his trip to Malawi to visit wanted fugitive pastor Shepherd Bushiri. He said he's a prophet, he's not a pastor. Johannesburg, to Mkondo Wesizwe, party has distanced itself from a media briefing to said, okay, oh my goodness. You guys, you are left behind. You are left behind. Let's go to Twitter then. I think this thing, no, man. You guys are off the news. You're, no. I don't know what's up with you guys. I don't know what's up. Let's go. 1 hour ago. Shivambo. Okay, cool. Let me feed this one in. Sorry. But I do not understand what's popping with you guys of the news. I'm removing you and then I'm putting Twitters here. I want to read Twitters. Just don't understand what's popping there. Yeah, I'm gonna take what's on Twitter and feed it here. Okay. All right, let's go to Twitter. What is Twitter saying? Okay, here you are. The Twitter says, let me see what's the latest here. Oh, so you had something live there. I didn't see this, huh? I should have just come straight here. Okay. So this is a Floyd thing.
And that people must beg for membership. Membership of the ANC. I was not even expelled in the ANC. I was suspended. When I left, this thing of political parties.
Oh, gosh. Okay, I need to go back to you, my friend. Where's your cool?
When I left,
okay.
Like my membership of the ANC, I was not even expelled in the ANC. I was suspended. When I left, this thing of political parties thinking that hey, people are desperate for their membership must come to an end, and that people must beg for membership. If anything, political parties must be honored that they've got members and respect them. Not that you must be begging for membership of a political organization. I left the ANC when it was above 63% in parliament and control of all provinces, was possibly the only employer. Had influence and lots of friends and people that I knew throughout my life left. I left the ANC voluntarily when it had power. Why would I be perturbed about being expelled by Mkondo Zis, who doesn't have power? Like, what will be like? That is the issue. I don't beg membership of political organizations. I deal with these issues differently. I used to say all the time to the DSG of Mkondo Zis that let's do our work. People can say whatever they want to say, they can scream and everything else. We take decisions, we implement, we go towards that are having by-elections. Before we went towards, the MK never used to win by-elections. We used to go towards to preside over volunteers without photos, without cameras, and pay attention to every little detail, and then we started to win wards. And then some people from parliament, they go a day before elections and they take photos then and say, hey, we've delivered the ward. After we've delivered it, Richmond we delivered. What goes out delivered? Mandeni we delivered. Like, and we do the work. And 3 months before the by-elections happens, we go there every week. And as we can't be entertaining who says what and everything. As I actually even told one of the provincial coordinators who said, hey, SJ, there are people who are talking about you here. They say you must be removed. I said, oh, man, don't ever send me such a message. Leave those things. If there's a decision to remove me, they will take it, but I'm not going to be sitting down and worried about removal and everything else. That now we take decisions and then we implement what is mandated by the collective and then build an organization on what should happen. Ladies and gentlemen, the people of South Africa, thank you very much for having listened to us speak for a very long time. We will be visiting all parts of South Africa. Next week, we're going to be announcing the leadership structure that is going to be guiding the listening process, so that we then also will be announcing just where are we going to be visiting for community engagement and interactions with our people. That is how we get to be here. Thank you very much. We are availing ourselves to be at service. We are servants of the people who want to listen. If the guidance is that we must form a political party, we're going to do it decisively and lead our people towards prosperity and total emancipation. Thank you very much. Sabong.
Yeah,
Thank you, Comrade
what are the
Shivambu.
comments? Let's see.
The press conference now is concluded.
Okay, this was, I guess, the questions. Let's play this one here. Okay, this was when I didn't see actually this. I'm only seeing it now.
Generation. And we remember clip down of 1955 when the Freedom Charter was adopted. These moments remind us that the struggle of the prosperity of the African people is far from over. It is this spirit that we welcome a leader who has carried these struggles forward with boldness and strong values, the former Secretary General of Umkhonto weSizwe Party, a dedicated servant of the people, a sharp political mind, a strong voice for the poor, the youth, working class, and elderly. Comrade Floyd Shivambu is a leader who stands firm in what he believes, who works very hard to bring the real change, and he leads through action. A leader who has never been afraid to challenge injustice, no matter the cost. Comrade Shivambu, the nation has been waiting for this moment.
And be much more visible. Not the, no, it's this cap. But it's a relevant. Thank you very much, Comrade Nolu Babalo Mtinga, who has volunteered to assist us in terms of this process, and want to also acknowledge the president of Manda Ashu Workers Union of South Africa, which I'm a volunteer of. I'm a volunteer of MAUSA, a union that organizes workers, community workers, and workers that are organized under the expanded public works program. And I want to also acknowledge the leadership that is here. I don't know if they was mentioned in my names. Former Treasurer General of Umkhonto weSizwe, Zuma Gubane, is with us here. And we've got the Comrade Mahlaba, advisor of Umkhonto weSizwe. Musa Nobela, we've got the former provincial convener of Mpumalanga, who convened before elections pro cause, not those who came after elections in terms of the work. And members of the media and the people of South Africa, we send our revolutionary greetings to all the people of South Africa and Black people in the African continent and in the African diaspora. We have called this press conference to speak about some of the recent political developments as it relates to the roles that we're playing in Umkhonto weSizwe. That on the 3rd of June 2025, the leadership of Umkhonto weSizwe, after national officials meeting, announced the discontinuation of my role as the Secretary General of Umkhonto weSizwe. And when the appointment or the announcement was made, there was an indication that will be redeployed to the National Assembly to form part of the parliamentary caucus of Umkhonto weSizwe. The principle established in the public announcement was that no leader and no member of Umkhonto weSizwe should speak about the reasons why the decision was taken. But it appears that there are those who are talking freely and in most instances almost distorting just what transpired. So, as a disciplined member of Umkhonto weSizwe, want to put on record as to what were the reasons that were given in the national officials for my redeployment. The reason given in the national officials for my redeployment or removal as Secretary General was that I want to overthrow President Zuma as the president of Umkhonto weSizwe. That is what was said. That all the work that we were doing as Secretary General of establishing structures and identifying leaders was meant ultimately at the removal of President Zuma. as president of Umkhonto weSizwe. And as part of that reasoning, an extremely bizarre and fake intelligence report was produced, which was claimed to be a conversation between me and some people in the African continent, where it is alleged that despite raising money to remove President Zuma, I'm also accumulating supernatural powers to make people disappear. That is the reason why we had to deal with superstitious issues as the basis of what happens, that there's apparently a head which I was going to be given to give to someone, and some people were going to die so that I can become president of Umkhonto weSizwe. That was the intelligence report, which were rejected with contempt and said that that is absolute rubbish, and said that if anyone claims to have my WhatsApp conversations, I can hand over my phone. I even offered in the meeting that take my phone and check not only the messages that you claim were about the removal of President Zuma, also check any other message about anything that I communicate as a leader of Umkhonto weSizwe. Because there's a principle which I always uphold, that there is nothing that I do privately that I cannot own up publicly. Nothing, including personal relations. There's nothing that I will ever do privately which we cannot own up publicly. And we accepted the redeployment to parliament with those misgivings that we're going to make people disappear in order to take over the leadership of Umkhonto weSizwe. And in a subsequent meeting post that, another fake report was presented which claims to be WhatsApp conversations between me and someone else, where I'm reported to be saying that, yeah, I'm going to use parliament now to take over the party. And I've got money from Stellenbosch, we're going to take over the party through parliament. They are taking me closer to where we're going to take power. And as a result, a decision was taken which was not yet communicated, that even this thing of parliament must not happen. In fact, the former Secretary General, which is myself, must be expelled from the organization. A letter was written and was put in the briefcase of the president, who said that he's going to dispatch it as and when he feels like to discontinue my membership of Umkhonto weSizwe. Those are actual facts in terms of the reason. And where does this come from? So the president of Umkhonto weSizwe, whom I dearly and so deeply respect, is surrounded by political scoundrels who opportunistically use his kindness, sometimes gullibility that comes with age, to write down fake intelligence report to influence him towards wrong directions. And the reason they do that is because they want to steal money from Umkhonto weSizwe. And they are doing so now. Withdrawal of not less than 7 million rand every month from the organizational coffers. That is what divide, and that is what, and we're talking about this because we raised it internally, that stop what you are doing, because you're going to get the party deregistered as a political party, because there's no sound reason on what has been happening, and it's things that we can prove beyond any reasonable doubt. Not because it's things that you can change, and it's things that you cannot fake. And for that reason, when we raise, every TG who has ever raised that got to be removed as leadership of Umkhonto weSizwe. And there's no TG who has resigned as Umkhonto weSizwe. All of them were removed to then deal with scoundrels who surround President Zuma to steal money of the organization. I carried my responsibilities as a leader of Umkhonto weSizwe with utmost respect and respected everyone. Led with the collective the process of drafting the constitution and other foundational documents of the organization. Set up structures as part of a collective effort. Got to institutionalize the MK Women's League, the Youth League, the students' movement, the MK interreligious movement, which in the past used to exist as separate organizations of the South African Interfaith Religious Council, MK Religious Desk, MKP and EFF, and various other organizations, interfaith, and then we got to unite them to have one organization. We got to even have to formalize the relations between Umkhonto we Sizwe and the Progressive Civic Congress, and formalize the relationship with MK and MK professionals and MK medics. So there's a lot of commendable work which was done by MK medics, a group of medical doctors and health practitioners who were going to communities to offer healthcare services. And in the process of doing that, every day, the political scoundrels work endlessly to speak negatively about the work that we're doing. I was saying, actually, I said it in the national officials meeting because we can't hold that meeting in private, even when people are talking now. That in December 2024, there was a statement written to remove me as a Secretary General on the basis that I'm about to announce a political party with Tokyo Zihwale and Lindo Sisulu, whom I had never spoken to about anything. Draft statement and was even shared with me that remove him today because he is going to form a political party. And that is full-time work that is dedicated on everything that you do. When you sit down, it's a problem. When you stand up, it's a problem. When you go out, it's a problem. When you come in, it's a problem every day. Because those who surround him have got evil intentions in terms of what got to happen. I've got tremendous respect for President Zuma. I think that in the few close working relationship that we've got to maintain and work with now, I think I've learned more in the 6 months than I learned in the 10 years I was deputy president of Umkhonto we Sizwe, of the EFF. I learned more as a member of Umkhonto we Sizwe than I learned as a deputy president of the EFF. In terms of real politics and appreciation of both the domestic and the global politics much more thoroughly in terms of the issues. And under no circumstances would I ever fault President Zuma and his politics. I joined Umkhonto we Sizwe because I thought that as part of the political historiography of South Africa, his politics and character should be protected and a legacy built around his proper politics, not the ones of gullibility and producing of fake intelligence report. Since the decision to remove ourselves as Secretary General took place, there have been a lot of ordinary South Africans from all corners of the country. There have been a lot of comrades who came from Umkhonto we Sizwe, from the ANC, from the EFF to say, what then do we do moving forward? Because I did explain to them what were the developments. And a substantial number of those say that don't ever try to join the ANC, and I fully agree with them. That will never join the ANC. It's directionless, it doesn't know what it's doing, it's in collaboration with the white system now. And that there are those who said don't ever join or rejoin the economic freedom fighters because it's a cult. And I agree with them. There is no space for sound ideological reasoning, and there's no self-respecting person who can join both the ANC and the EFF. I agree with that fully. And there are those who said that there's fundamental weaknesses with Umkhonto we Sizwe, that the organization seems to be run by a family and seems to be inconsistent on issues of discipline, seems to be directionless and sometimes takes conservative and reactionary positions. I say that part of the reasons why we joined Umkhonto is we could observe from far that we can't allow in South Africa a political organization that can become a tribalist and regional organization with such influence. Instead of throwing insults at MK, we have to play a role in contributing to its ideological character and politics and direction. And I think that we did successfully in terms of what happened. Now, these several observations about the organization of Umkhonto Sizwe. Some are correct, some I will reserve my observations on because I can't abuse the fact that I occupied a very senior role and had access to almost every development that happens there. But those who want to hear my views privately, we can speak about that, but I'll never abuse the fact that there's a role that we played. I did that when I left the EFF, that I said I will never speak bad about the EFF when I was MK, and I never did. And I'll never speak bad about the MK. I will never demonize its perspective. But also of those who came, there are those who said that we should form a political party or a political movement to contest the 2026 and 2029 elections. My view about the formation of a political party is that a political party must never be founded by an individual. My prompt response to the first number of people who came was that let us not form a political party, let us fight within the existing political parties. But that if we were to form a political party, let us go to the people of South Africa and ask them if they want to have a political party. We can't form a political party as a group of friends and as few individuals. So a political party should never be an individual project where you feel like, no, I want to start a political party and then you start it. It must never be a family project. It's very dangerous to have political parties which are family run. A political party must not be a tribal or ethnic project. In a South Africa of today, a political party must not be a regional, must not even be a provincial party. A political party must not be a platform for self-enrichment. It must not be a fiefdom. It must not be a cult. If anything, a political party should be a fighting instrument and vehicle for the people of South Africa, must deeply espouse the principles of democracy and democratic consultations in terms of how decisions are taken, must be transparent and must be accountable in the work that it does. So to the comrades that came to say, let us form a political party, we said that we can't take that decision. Let us subject that process to the people of South Africa. So we're here today to announce that we're going to be convening the process of consulting the people of South Africa on the formation of a political movement that will be a true representative of the people of South Africa, and not a personal project, and not a group of friends project, not a cult, and not a fiefdom. So over the next few months, we will be consulting all the traditional leaders. We will be consulting all the church leaders, religious leaders in different institutions. We will be seeking the views and opinions of all the manifestations of the Zion Christian Church, of the Nazareth Baptist Church, of the IPCC, of the 12 Apostle Church in Christ, of the 12 Apostle Church in Trinity, of the Bantu Church of Christ, and all the charismatic churches. We will be seeking opinions as well of prominent leaders of society and the people that we have access to. Pastors Matebula, Pastor Bishop, Archbishop Zondo, Malumani Musasono, Giet Kosa, Pastor Bishop Don Phillips, We will be seeking the wisdom of prominent South Africans, inclusive of Dr. Ivan Khoza, of Dr. Patrice Mutsipi, of Dr. Keza Mtaung, of Dr. Michael Nkuna. We will be seeking opinions of different sectors of society as to, is there a need to form a political party? That is the first question that we're going to ask. That if yes, what should be the values and principles of that political party? And what should distinguish that political party from the existing political parties? So those are the questions that we're going to be asking. We're also going to ask as to how should that political party be funded? So those are the questions that we're going to be asking different communities and constituencies across South Africa. It's not the first time that I'm engaged in a process similar to what we're going to be dealing with now. When I was a leader of the ANC Youth League, having spent 5 years in the national leadership of the ANC Youth League, and strongly believed that time that there was a suppression of the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime. I began in 2012 when I was still a member of the ANC to publicly write that perhaps the struggle for economic freedom in our lifetime should exist as a separate organization outside of the ANC. And then in March of 2013, I wrote a perspective as to why a political party should be founded. And that perspective is found is within the founding manifesto of the economic freedom fighters. And everyone else who came after that perspective joined that perspective and believed as to what we got to do. And of course, we got to discontinue our association with the EFF for various reasons, which if some were to speak about publicly, will cause collateral damages to families, to households, to people, because it will also speak to character, and that's some of the things that are not worth speaking about publicly. So we will be going to all the people of South Africa to consult in all the regions of South Africa. In KwaZulu-Natal, we're going to be going to Mkanyaku, there to Zululand, to Ilembe, to Ugu, to eThekwini, Amajuba, Mzinyathi, Thukela, Mgungundlovu, to King Tetwayo, to Herigwala. In the Eastern Cape, we're going to start here in Jokabe region and go to Komani and Chris Hani. We're going to go to OR Tambo in Mtata, to Alfred Nzo in Mount Frere. We'll go to speak to the people of Amatole, one of the poorest districts in the Eastern Cape, which includes Mbashe, Ngusha, and Mnguma. We're going to speak to the people of Balo City, who are still having and confronted by lots of developmental challenges in Duncan Village and all the areas. We're going to be speaking to the people of Sarah Bartman, one of the neglected areas of the Eastern Cape, municipalities of Blue Crane, with a small town called Cook House, of the people of Sandys River Valley, of Dlambe. We're going to be speaking to the people of Nelson Mandela Bay Municipality. In the Northwest Province, we're going to be consulting with the municipalities which are named after the doctors of Ngaka Mudiri Mulema, of Dr. Ruth Sukhomotsu Mompati, of Dr. KK Kaunda, of Bojanala. We'll be speaking to all the people of the Northern Cape, in Francis Bard, in one of the most underdeveloped regions of Pixley Kaseme. We're going to be speaking to ZF Mkau, members to Namaka, to the communities of John Taole, Gaitewe region, which is still facing a lot of super exploitation by those who are operating the mineral resources. Here in Gauteng province, we're going to be speaking to the people of Johannesburg, of course, with a dysfunctional municipality. We're going to be speaking to the people of Ekurhuleni and people of Sidibeng, of West Rand, of Tshwane. In the Free State, we're going to be speaking to the people of Ezilidabi, of Lujweleputsa, of Mangaung, of Mufutsanyana, of Tarip, all the 3 municipalities of Kariba dysfunctional. We're going to be speaking to the people of the Western Cape, in Cape Metro, in Southern Cape, in Cape Winelands, in West Coast, in Central Karoo and Overbeck. Itaba kaya vulavula na vanhu va le Limpopo va le kaya. Tihosi hinkwato vulavula na tona lava tikereke. Kusukusela le a Musina ku ya fika la a Waterberg. Hinkwavo itaba kaya vulavula na vona ka Giyani ka Malamulele. Hinkwavo ka vona itaba kaya vulavula na vona hi ku xana hi fanele hi sungula political party ke na loko hi sungula hi fanele hi yimela yini political party yaleyo. Hi leswi hi nga ta va kha hi endla swona through the length and breadth of South Africa. I'm not talking about all these areas because I read them elsewhere. There's no area in South Africa where I have not done political work. None. Not as a political tourist. As a person who went to do political work, I know and have been familiar with the dynamics of each and every district of this country and have done political work in all corners of this country. In Mpumalanga, I forgot to speak about Mpumalanga. I've worked in Mpumalanga for the longest time, from Nhlanzini, in Bushbuck, Rich, Chewu, Mbombela, and Nkomazi, it's 4 municipalities. And Kangala, we are going to have deeper consultation in the district that is named after Gert Shadrack Sibande. We're going to take up the spear that was left by Treasure Tabete and Mkondo and fight the battles of the people of Mkondo, of Deep Alesing, of all the municipalities of Hertzbandi. So ladies and gentlemen, the people of South Africa, we're here today to announce a process that is going to speak to all the people of South Africa with the aim of establishing a political party if the people of South Africa say we should do so. We do not want to do that as a personal project or as a group of friends project. It must be a party that is owned by the people of South Africa. So that is basically what we had called this press conference to communicate, and we will be going to the ground to speak to the people. We'll be talking to young people via social media platforms and other media platforms. Will provide platforms as to how the engagements are going to happen. We are going to next week announce the leadership core that is going to be responsible for the consultation process. And that leadership will be coming from all the provinces of South Africa, will be properly gender balanced, and not just a group of men or boys. It will be combination of different skills and capacities so that we're able to listen much more attentively to all the people of South Africa. We thank you very much for having attended this otherwise intimate briefing on what we had to deal with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comrade Shivambu. Now we're going to be taking questions. All right, I'm going to start there at the back, and then I'm going to come forward. 2 questions per person. So
You can take 5 hands.
5, ne? 5 per person. Okay.
No, 5 questions.
Yeah.
5 hands.
5 hands. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let me just give numbers. You'll be number 1 there at the back. Number 2 with the green. Number 3, the lady. Number 4, and then number 5. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Hawelo Magolero from UFM. Floyd, you know, it would seem that you've already decided to form the party when you are saying you are announcing an interim core. What about your credibility? I mean, you've embarked on this. I remember the famous "what is to be done" question when you said you were consulting South Africans for the formation of the EFF, which today you are trashing. And when you joined MK, you said that was the most solid decision. And when MK announced your demotion at the time and said this man embarked on a trip to Bushiri, you accepted that that was a reason that you had gone there without the knowledge of the party. and so on. Why must South Africans still believe you in light of what happened and not think that you are starting this thing because you do not want to serve as an ordinary member in a party? Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Sintebu. I'm with the SAPC. Mr. Shivambo, you're saying that you'll be embarking on a process to form a new political party if the people of South Africa give you that a go ahead. Does that mean today you've parted ways with MK Party despite the fact that you're wearing the MKP cap? And secondly, what are you saying to those people who are saying mushrooming of black political parties, in fact, are just meant to divide the black vote? Aren't you seeing yourself as maybe part of those who are duped into forming political parties only to benefit the very same people that you are saying are the white monopoly capital, because those people seem to be getting funding from the very people that you accused as the white monopoly capital? I've got a number of questions, but I think I will stick for two.
Okay, sure.
Thank you very much. My name is Yanda Ngobo from Newsroom Africa. Mr. Shivambu, just to follow up on Deb, what's your current status in the MK party? Have you officially resigned? If so, when did that happen? And you say you're going to be traversing parts of the country and different regions. Where are you getting the money for this? How exactly are you going to be going about it? And then I just want to go back a little bit here with regards to your Bushiri trip. I mean, you and I sat down 3 weeks ago where you basically said, that the leader of the MK party knew about this trip. Did you ever get a chance to sit down with him one-on-one to discuss this? You've already told us about intelligence reports. What did he say to you with regards to these intelligence reports? Because he seemed very upset during those Youth Day rallies. So maybe take us into your confidence, because it links to the credibility question that's been asked, because you had told me that you would never resign from the MK party. So please take us into your confidence in terms of that decision-making process. Yeah, I'll leave it there for now. From African Times. I actually wanted to ask the same question, that have you officially resigned? Oh, okay. Okay, Namazulu Moyo here from African Times. I actually wanted to ask the same question, that have you officially resigned from the MK party? And also, you're talking about organizing people that are going to be approaching citizens from next week. How long does it take? Why is it so fast? Have you been in this process for a long time already, or what? Thank you.
practical experience which you can never read in any textbook. Like and I knew from the beginning, from day one, that here we're about to start a journey of deep learning and understanding just what are the dynamics of South Africa's politics, not from a textbook point of view, or from social media point of view, because there are political leaders who are guided by social media and think trending on social media makes them relevant. Win all elections in social media, but on the ground they're nothing. So that is basically what we're dealing with. We're not dividing black political parties in table. We are listening to people and they will tell us if there's a need for a political party. So if majority, and genuinely so, if majority of the people say that there's no need to form a political party, we will humbly listen to that and take advice from that point of view. We have constituted a structure which is going to be listening, and we have had meetings to talk about that, and none of those meetings were secret. We don't do anything secret. It's open. Even tomorrow and Saturday, we're going to have a meeting represented by all leaders from the whole country. Some are members of the ANC, some are members of the EFF, some are members of the MK. And there's nothing wrong with people meeting to say we're going to listen to people. If their parties have got a problem with their members going to listen to people, then it's their own issue. So listening we're going to do. And if our organizations think that listening is a crime, it's wrong, then they will tell us that it's wrong in terms of those issues. Where am I going to get the money to travel? You know, Zianda, for my 6 months as Mkonto is a national organizer and secretary general, I've never used the money of Mkonto Isize to travel from any place to another place. Not once. Even when we travel out of the country. Because I be able to persuade people to contribute for travel. And I purposefully did that. Like I never got to be dependent on Mkonto Isize on anything. And I said that in the meeting that I didn't come to suck blood of Mkonto Isize's resources. And that is, we will be able to move from point A to B. If we run out of petrol, we will check if we can be borrowed money to pour petrol. If there's no petrol, we'll hike. We'll stand on the street and say, this way we're going to Mthatha. And then go and speak to the people. That is what we're going to do. But moving from point A to B, we'll be able to move in terms of how the process is going to happen. So the leadership collective that is going to meet, which is not a secret, is going to determine the program of action, the length and the process of consultation, and then we will be able to deal with these issues. Now, comrades, this thing is simple. Don't do things that you don't believe in. And don't associate with projects that you don't believe in. Never ever sacrifice principle on the altar of political convenience. It doesn't matter what happens. Like, it doesn't matter if that is going to break friendship and people that you have known the rest of your life, brotherhood and all of those things there. If principle is broken, disassociate from it, and decisively so. But in doing so, sometimes you must be considerate of some of the personal circumstances of some of the people that you're dealing with. So that is basically it, that you must never associate with unprincipled positions. You must always stick to principles as to how you deal with politics. These things of, yeah, I'm just there because I'm there for salary purposes and for income. What do we do? Go to leaders of the ANC on the corners and say, but what is this thing that they're doing? They will tell you that that Ramaphosa is nonsense. That Ramaphosa is misleading us. But they won't tell him. Go to EFF people and they will tell you their own characterization of the leader of the organization and what is happening there. But they don't have the courage to tell him. Same in MK. And we can't have political culture like that. We must be able to, when you raise issues internally sharply, you don't have to go and gossip about it anyway. Now, all the issues and concerns that I heard about MK, I raised internally. Even against all odds, there is an opportunity to raise an issue about the wrongdoing. I would speak and clearly speak against the untouchables there. People who take drugs and tweet at night and insult us. And we'll confront them and say, what is this about? And that is basically how we deal with these issues in terms of what happens. We'll never tiptoe around anyone in terms of principles. Always protect principle on how we deal with these issues. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, comrade. Number 1, number 2, Sandile. Number 3, number 4, number 5. We're gonna attend to everyone, don't worry. Thank you. Number 1.
Okay, I'm Kopano with MDN TV. Just 2 questions. What happened to unity under the MKP? And then my second question is that, Mr. Shivambu, do you feel like you were being used as a tool to destabilize the EFF? Thank you.
Yeah, Mzwandile Mbeje from the SABC. Mr. Shivambo, to get you removed, writing all those reports. So who are those people?
Affairs of the MK party. So do South Africans need a new political party? Certainly there will be smaller parties on South Africa's political landscape going forward. What this means is that we are going to have multiple small parties. The age of bigger parties is upon us. So I think that certainly, with the parties that exist, it is worth a try. And I think that even if he does not want to pursue a party that will focus on the region, he wants to focus on a party that will represent people nationally. I think there is a space for that. There is still a space for even more regional political parties. And region does not mean ethnic.
Mm-hmm. And then just on mistrust that we're seeing in the political space, we've seen now, at least he's revealed that the reasons for his decision to leave Umkhonto we Sizwe party or start this consultative process, pardon me, is that there was a presentation of an intelligence report to the former president, Jacob Zuma, which revealed that he was working to topple the president, but also was crisscrossing the continent, looking to gain some sort of superpowers to make people disappear. Your take on just this kind of culture of mistrust in many political parties and the use of intelligence reports?
I think it speaks to a lack of proper institutionalization within these smaller parties or within these newer parties, I beg your pardon. And I think that if you look at what he's talking about, it's lack of proper structures to deal with conflict. If you look particularly at the MK party, it is a party that is relatively new. and it is a party whose institutional infrastructure is still in its formative years. So to see the use of intelligence report to deal with internal squabbles, internal conflict within the party, that speaks to a poor institutionalization within the party. And I think he was quite open about that he believes that there need to be proper institutions within political party so that these parties can be coherent internally.
Rolf, I'm going to jump in here. It's Juliet. How credible is Floyd Shivambu as a new party leader, considering his party hopping over the past few years, obviously from the ANC to the EFF to the MK party, and how difficult could it be for him to build a support base?
The support base, I think it is possible. And I do think that South Africans are becoming more and more jaded about political parties, but that does not mean that the space for formation of a new party that will inspire people is no longer there. I do believe that such a space exists. The problem that we have is that quite a number of existing parties have not been able to inspire that confidence significantly. So I think it is worth trying, and the lessons that leaders bring with from their previous experience with other political parties should actually tell them where to go, what to do when it comes to inspiring that confidence, how to run a political party. We have heard in this press conference how some other political parties are built around cult, and I think these are the things that a new formation, if it were to come into effect, needs.
That very briefing. Good afternoon to the both of you. Perhaps to start with you, Mzwandile, quite a lot that we've heard. Is a process, a consultative process now to find out from
country. He will be engaging those prominent South Africans, the likes of Dr. Ivan Khoza, Yokeza Mtaungs, Mr. Mike Nkuna, who's a prominent businessman within the country, your Dr. Patrice Motsepe as well, who's also a prominent and eminent South African when it comes to politics, when it comes to business and philanthropy, particularly within the country. He will be engaging with his team, religious and traditional leaders, on a need, if there is, of this new political vehicle. A similar process that the Economic Freedom Fighters, when they were launched in Uncle Tom's Hall, they embarked upon, which Floyd Shivambu was part of today, alleging that some leaders of the MK party, when they are high on drugs at night, start tweeting about him. A very bizarre punchy storms led by families in reference to the MK party, and also alleging that some leaders of the MK party, when they are high on drugs at night, start tweeting about him. A very bizarre punchy statements that were made there by Floyd Shivambu, ultimately announcing that he is embarking on that process to forming a party. And mind you, just like Jacob Zuma, he will hold a dual membership of this new political vehicle and that of the MK party. But I am not alone. I am with Mzwandile Mbeje, political editor at the SABC. Mr. Mbeje, just the essence of that briefing, what did you take out of it?
Well, I got a sense of someone who's extremely frustrated at what is currently happening within the party that he still belongs to, the MK. That's why some girl, he was able to just say the former president is surrounded by scoundrels who are effectively misleading him. But the fact of the matter from this briefing is that he is frustrated about what is happening in the MK, but is trying to obviously be very diplomatic about it. So as a result, because I mean he's human, he's got ambitions, that is why he's embarking on this process, which is going to be very interesting, how the MK, for example, is going to respond. And I think he was very careful in his articulation of not necessarily criticizing MK, particularly its leader, actually going as far as to say what he has learned from President Zuma in 6 months is more than what he learned at the EFF in 10 years. So clearly you can see he's trying to strike the balance. As you correctly said, he is still going to continue to be a member of MK. And then those intelligence reports, I think, which he says were used to remove him. And I think that's part of what really frustrated him. And then, depending on what MK Samgelo does from now on, if, for example, the leadership of MK feels he's expelled, he may play a victim, and South Africans will say, well, he didn't want to leave, so you pushed him out. Whatever he does is justified.
When you look at some of the platitudes he had, particularly for former President Zuma, saying that he learned more from him in the 8 months was there at MK Party as opposed to the 10 years he was at the Economic Freedom Fighters. But from the conversations I've had with EFF leaders, there was never a time where Floyd Shivambu actually confronted Julius Malema on some of the perceived wrong things Julius Malema was doing within the Economic Freedom Fighters. So where does he now take it from to speak about people not having the guts to confront Cyril Ramaphosa on the wrong things he does? Yet we are told by our own sources in the sea that your people like Dr. Zwelini Mkhize, like your Andile Lungisas, who do stand up within that National Executive Committee and confront their President Akwede Mantashe, for example. So where does this talk of him saying that people are afraid to confront leaders when he failed to do so within the EFF?
Well, it's quite interesting because, in fact, I think as we were listening, we're just also remarking with some of the journalists there to say, if you look at this press briefing, the people who got it very hard from this briefing would probably be Dudu Zili without even him naming her, and someone like Julius Malema. So basically, you get a sense that he either bottled whatever was troubling him or may not have been brave enough to stand up and speak about these things. But the fact of the matter, you can see that he is done with that relationship. It's quite interesting.
When you look at South African politics is all about crowd pullers. A charismatic leader like Jacob Zuma was able to grow the ANC base in KwaZulu-Natal by about 2 million votes, where he took over from Mbeki, where the ANC is sitting at about 1.4 million, taking ANC above 2-3 million in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. It is a numbers game. Julius Malema is a crowd puller. He's charismatic. You look at the likes of Figile Razma, Mbalula, very charismatic as well. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, very charismatic. Floyd Shivambu, not so charismatic. Where will those numbers come for him?
It will depend, Samgele, on the team that is putting together. I mean, he can be the engine of the party and perhaps not so much be the face. If, let's say, part of the leadership that is going to announce, I think is it in the coming weeks, you have people who are able to appeal in terms of the crowds, so that can work. But as you've said, South African politics is also about optics. So if you are not perhaps loud enough or if you are not charismatic, they tend to ignore you. But also the fact that he is not dissociating himself from the current party that he is in, and you would have seen that he seems to have had some sort of groundswell of support since he was removed as the Secretary General. Perhaps he's also working on that. Who he brings to then deal with that aspect will be very important. So that structure that will be announced, Sam, we will be able to see where they're going with this.
Thank you very much, Mzwandile Mbeje. That is the politics editor at the South African Broadcasting Corporation, Mzwandile Mbeje, just laying the lay of the land politically of what the road lays ahead when the political tectonic plates are shifting beneath the feet of Floyd Shivambu, particularly when it comes to the Umkhonto weSizwe party. You do know that he has been very scathing against some of those people he perceives as scoundrels who surround the MK party leader, Jacob Zuma.
Well, thanks very much. Those were our reporters, Zwandile Mbeji, SABC political editor, as well as
Samkele Maseko, yes.
Maseko, SABC senior politics reporter. But before we go, Ralph, if I could ask you one more question. The MK party distanced itself from this presser today, with them saying that they had nothing to do with it. But now, what does this suggest about former President Jacob Zuma's control over the party, as well as its future direction?
I mean, from what we hear from Mr. Shivambu, clearly, Mr. Zuma, from what we hear from Mr. Shivambu's presser, Mr. Zuma is being pulled in all directions.
Going to fall. I would imagine that there's massive disagreement within the GNU right now about whether to support or whether to condemn Israel's attack on Iran. And so it feels like that's a vulnerability. But no one can exploit the vulnerability because no one is concerted enough in their pressure on the government. So we're in this weird place right now where, and I'm going to move on to part 3 here, where to look at the wider political situation. It's like we have a very weak and ineffectual government, which talk about what happened in the press conference today, summarize it and analyze. This is bad for both. And then finally, look at some of the broader political implications. And then we heard a number of things that led me to believe that he's done with MK Party. The first thing that I thought was worth noting is that he gave an account from and his version of why he was removed from the MK position. And he suggested that there was a report that said that he was trying to overthrow Jacob Zuma's leadership within MK Party, which he vehemently denied. So I found that quite shocking. He then went on and said that, intimated that there is financial, at least mismanagement, if not wrongdoing within the MK Party. He made some allusion to 7 million rand being withdrawn and the number of treasurer generals that there have been, and effectively warned that if this financial mismanagement was found by the IEC, it could result in the deregistration of MK Party. Now, this comes in the context of former President Zuma recently saying that people who join MK should join MK for liberation and not to make money. So it seems like there are accusations and counter-accusations of financial mismanagement. And Shivambu put that on the table, which was another bombshell. Interestingly, though, and the reason why I say he's kinda leaving MK Party is that he did not go for President Zuma. In fact, he continued to fire invective in the direction of the ANC and the EFF. He said the ANC was directionless, the EFF was a cult, and he still had a lot of respect for President Zuma. But he said something that we've heard a lot before from ANC leaders, which is that President Zuma is surrounding himself with opportunists who are taking advantage of him. So on the one hand, he said that there's this kind of financial mismanagement that he alluded to. But then on the other hand, he said that he still respects President Zuma, and his political education and his political strategy is something that he still looks up to. But he thinks that Zuma is being misled, which I found interesting. And then there was this wild moment where he said he'd learned more in the short time he'd been in MK politically than the 10 years he was in the EFF. So I would say that that's probably the most important stuff to take from the press conference, save for two other things. The one is that, as I mentioned, some were speculating he might even join the ANC. Would he go back to the EFF? And he said clearly that he wouldn't do either of those two things. So that left speculation open for whether he is starting some kind of new party. And what he said there is quite a familiar play in South African politics. He said, I'm not starting a party, but what I am doing is I'm launching consultations towards whether South Africa needs a new party. So he doesn't want to, according to him, just jump ahead and start a party based on an individual. But he wants to start consultations with whether there's space for a new political party. So that is a summary of some of the important stuff. Finally, though, just on this, he was then asked, I think it was by Zianda Ngobo of Newsroom Africa, whether he considers himself out or in terms of MK. And yeah, he pulled he pulled a Zuma, which my producer Oratile actually predicted on social media before, where he said, I'm still a member, so MK must tell me if I'm not a member anymore. So he's kind of doing I'm still a member of MK, but I'm also organizing outside of MK. And there's quite a cruel irony to that, because that was the exact strategy that Zuma used in terms of the ANC, saying I'm still in the ANC, but I'm mobilizing outside the ANC to create a new party. So this is a strategy that can be used where you're trying to keep support on both sides of the different political aisles, the one you're leaving and the one you're going into. Cool. So that's a bit of a summary of what happened today so that you're up to speed. Now I want to consider some of the many implications and comment down below. Let me know what you think. Put some questions in, and let's get this chat moving as fast as we can, and we'll see how we can respond to those. So I want to start with the implications for MK Party, and they're not good, unfortunately. Now, the MK Party is in a very interesting position and predicament, and there's something of a paradox that surrounds the MK Party, because the hardest thing to do as a political party is to get votes and to get public support. And many chancers and opportunists and people who have tried have attempted to enter this political game, and MK has entered the political game better than anyone before in terms of getting votes, reaching 14% of the vote 6 months into its existence. So they've done the hard part, which is getting public support. The easier part, one would have thought, or historically is actually building the internal structures, creating leadership, and having stability of leadership. And you would think that with so much public support, that kind of stability of leadership would fall into place. And many people thought that that was exactly the role that Floyd Shivambu was appointed to play, to steady the ship, create internal structures, constitutional structures, a national footprint that would really turn MK from a movement that had burst onto the scene into an institutionalized political party. But having done the hard part of getting the votes, this is in some ways what appears to be another nail in the coffin of the notion that MK party is unstable, or it's a nail in the coffin of the notion that it is stable. So, I mean, there's only so much political turnover that can happen until people start questioning, well, like, is this just a perpetual cycle of turnover? I don't know how many SGs MK has had at this point, but it's just not a good look to constantly have this high turnover of SGs and treasurers general as well. There's this high turnover, and it's not a good look. It doesn't instill confidence. It doesn't inspire confidence. And it makes people who might have been interested in the MK Party project a little bit trepidatious, because one's not sure whether the center of the party is going to hold. Now, the mainstay, apart from a few others, is President Zuma. So President Zuma has certainly been a constant, and there's no doubt that his presence is a large reason for MK Party support across the country. But in terms of the leadership core around President Zuma, which is of course important for any political party, because you can't just have one central leader, MK is not in a good position right now. And the thing for MK is that, yes, they will have hardcore supporters in their strongholds, where they did very well in KZN, in Mpumalanga, in pockets of Gauteng. But the mission for MK would certainly be to grow now and to convince those who are on the fence, those who may be EFF supporters or ANC supporters or independents, that MK is a serious political party and you can put your faith in MK. And with this constant turnover, they put that at risk. Having said that, though, like, MK is such a fascinating political experiment, because we don't actually have any data that this turnover in leadership has affected them electorally, because in some by-elections they continue to do really well. In other by-elections they haven't done that well, but there's been no evidence of a complete collapse in MK support at all. And so we may have this interesting situation in which MK is just a very unstable entity, but which still has at least a serious amount of public support. And it'll always be that question, as I've said on many videos on this channel, of what collapses first, MK's internal dynamics or the political parties around MK, and it's kind of a race to see whether MK can be stable or whether it will lose public support. But I wouldn't be too quick to suggest that public support is going to completely collapse for MK, because we don't have any evidence of that yet. But what I will say is it's not a good look for MK. What I'd also like to say, to look at this from the perspective of Floyd Shivambu now, is, I mean, this is not a good look for him either. So I think what this has done is just as Shivambu's joining of MK was great in many ways for both of them, because it kind of elevated Shivambu's national footprint. And then it also signaled that MK was growing and it was eating into the base of the EFF and all of that, and was able to poach from big parties. So it was good for both of them in position, and as far as I can see, wasn't going anywhere. Or at least he had respect and support within the EFF. Risked leaving the EFF, obviously alienating the EFF, and we see now how bitter many people on both sides of that breakup are about the way that it happened. And then only to now be kicked out of the SG position at MK. So it feels like and political insights and experience. But for him, it'll be a question of sitting back and thinking, in moments like this in life, there's no need to rush. There's no need to rush. And sometimes it's better to just build yourself before throwing yourself back into the political mix thing. Whereas the option of we're going to start a consultation and see where things go kind of feels anticlimactic. I think you either announce, I'm starting the new party and this is where I'm going, or you say, you know what, I'm taking a step back from the political scene for a while. I'm going to think, I'm going to reflect, I'm going to do my academic thing. I'm going to, do various other things and come back stronger, having thought. But this kind of middle ground of I'm neither in nor out, nor in a new place, nor in an old place, for me is a dangerous strategy. Also because we must consider the fatigue South Africans feel over new political formations. I mean, it's getting to absurd levels now where like there are breakaways of breakaways of breakaways. And the South African voter has on many occasions expressed that we feel like there are more and more parties, but fewer and fewer options. Splinter. All while there's this message of unity that's being sent. And ultimately, unity is something that is practiced and not to this coalition government, which hasn't achieved we predicted here on SMWX, there are going to be major international relations issues that hit this coalition government, and they're going to have a position on it. It's like, we have a very weak and ineffectual government, which doesn't have an agenda. And so it's like political parties are almost competing to inspire confidence internally, a lot of celebration. And in many ways, you feel as if the EFF kind of is saying, I told you so, which I suppose they have a right to do right now. EFF people will be celebrating. But for the EFF as well, the question is there room for them to grow? Because Floyd leaving doesn't necessarily mean the EFF is growing. And so the question for them would be, as MK is in now this moment of fragility, can they convince people who maybe migrated from the EFF to MK in the last election that actually the EFF is the right home for them? That's the task that will be set for the EFF. As far as the GNU side of the equation, I mean, like I say, it's a competition for anticlimactic politics at the moment. I mean, I just don't know where this government is going. I don't know where this coalition is going. Another talk shop when we have so many urgent priorities that we all agree on. And it can feel like a waste of time. I do very well in Joburg if Helen Zille runs for mayor. I do. And believe me, I've made some election predictions before and people have said I'm being crazy. Watch out for the DA in Joburg if Helen Zille runs as mayor, because it's going to be a serious proposition. And that's only because the ANC has done nothing to fix service delivery since it's taken power back. And Joburg residents are just tired at this point of not having water, too many. Let's take one or two questions, but let's take a few live questions. By the way, I'm wearing the suit because I'm graduating tonight with my LLB. So I actually have to run in 5 minutes to make sure I get to my graduation. I know some EFF people may say, now you see you running away during the Floyd interview, but I actually have a graduation to get to, people. So any questions, Oradile?
Not a lot of questions, but I think, yeah, a lot of people are giving their opinion about what Floyd has talked about today. But we did, though, release a poll.
Okay.
And we asked, we're saving Floyd and his collective some money here.
Yeah.
And starting his consultation for him, and asked, should Floyd Shivambu start a new party? And 61% of people said no.
61 said no. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I said, like I thought, like I felt, South Africans are just tired of new parties. So you'll have to do a lot of work to convince people that a new party is the answer to this. I mean, I was maybe thinking like Floyd was going to announce that he's starting a new pressure group, an Afri forum of sorts. And that I feel is like a gap in the market that no one has really taken. But as for political party, it's going to be hard to convince people that it's worthwhile. Cool. Well, look, I need to graduate, people. So like, share, subscribe. We did a video about Floyd Shivambu leaving the MK party. And thank you for just supporting.